Hello. It is time for an all-new edition of Trump Trolls Trump. You know, the show where one person with the last name of Trump mercilessly, relentlessly, and quite frankly, legitimately and fairly mocks another person who stole the same last name. I'm going to leave it to you guys to figure out who's who. It's going to be tricky. Anyway, we're now 166 days into the Trump regime's reign of terror, reign of confusion, reign of chaos, but also let's call it what else it is. It's a reign of idiocy. Time flies when you're having a horrible time, and when democracy is slowly being strangled by a man who can't tie his own shoes. Anyway, we're going to look back at week 22. Yes, it has been that long. Now, Donald is good at very, very few things, but I'm going to give him credit for something. He has an actually quite decent ability to mix cognitive decline with narcissism. I mean, that's a twofer. Every time it is a 10 out of 10 for his performance in being a moron. So this week we got to witness Donald in his natural habitat, a press conference, which is the stuff of life for him. Specifically, he was unveiling one of his new taxpayer-funded trauma centers, also known as a gulag, also known as a concentration camp. And they're very sweetly calling it Alligator Alcatraz because they're vile. During this dystopian ribbon cutting, and yes, there was a ribbon cutting for a prison, a gulag, a concentration camp, if you will, that is going to house mostly innocent immigrants and torture them and torment them and strip them of their constitutional rights. A Fox reporter, yes, that Fox, asked a straightforward question about how long the detainees will be held there.
Dana Marie McNichol, Fox News Channel. Mr. President, is there an expected time frame that detainees will spend here, days, weeks, months? And does that have anything to do with the immigration judges you just spoke about being trained and staffed here?
When you say, what was the first part of your question?
Is there a specific time frame you expect the detainees to spend here, days, weeks, months?
In Florida?
Yes, here.
I'm going to spend a lot. Look, this is my home state. I love it. I love your government. I love all the people around. These are all friends of mine. They know them very well. I mean, I'm not surprised that they do so well. 4 years I've got to be in Washington, and I'm okay with it because I love the White House. I even fix up the a lot of people move from New York, and I don't know what New York has to help some of these states out, I think. But thank you very much. I'll be here as much as I can. Very nice question.
Yeah, it's a very nice question, but the question, you idiot, wasn't, do you like Florida? It was, are these detainees going to be kept there forever? The reason he can't answer that question is because he doesn't have an answer, because they were denied their due process. They did not go to trial. They were not sentenced to anything for any period of time. And I don't know about you guys, but I am sick of this thuggish lunk sitting there and denying the American people access to any truths about anything whatsoever. Donald is, quite frankly, increasingly far gone these days. He has an attention span of a toddler, although that's actually nothing new. According to NBC News, Donald keeps interrupting official business to speed dial his sycophantic buddies. Well, we can't call them friends because he doesn't have any. At least he has his priorities straight, right? Well, quite frankly, that's better than his actually trying to do the business of governance. Several whistleblowers spoke to the outlet, ABC News, saying that Donald frequently interrupts these meetings in order to make personal calls to media figures, and including UFC CEO Dana White and mogul and destroyer of democracies, Rupert Murdoch. Donald has called Murdoch to complain about Fox coverage or to ask his opinion on major geopolitical issues like the Israel-Iran conflict, despite the fact that Murdoch has absolutely no official government role and doesn't know anything about anything except propaganda, disinformation, and the aforementioned destruction of democracies. In June 2025, after consulting with Murdoch, Donald ordered military strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities, raising concerns about decisions influenced by television personalities rather than formal intelligence. This is the United States government right now. It is not run by people who are expert in such governing. It is run by an unqualified hack who thinks that the only way he can make decisions is to ask people who he knows from TV. Now, remember when, well, I don't just say remember when he's still doing it. He's complaining about the fact that President Biden used an auto pen to sign things. Now, Donald is literally outsourcing national security to somebody like Rupert Murdoch, somebody like Elon Musk, somebody like Vladimir Putin. I just cannot imagine having to sit in a room with that man and still not recognize what a threat he poses. A GOP senator and other officials described Donald as obsessed with personal calls. I mean, I guess he doesn't really have anything better to do other than play golf badly. And one source has said that he still lives on the telephone, that is Donald, and does not grasp that as president, he should focus on official matters. Why would he know that? He's never had to. And nobody makes him. Well, Donald, who will never, ever miss an opportunity for a grift, has come out with, yes, you guessed it, a branded perfume. He announced this on his social failing media site, writing, quote, Trump fragrances are here. They're called Victory 4547 because they're all about winning, strength, and success for men and women. Now, listen, that should not be allowed. It is grotesque for the sitting president of the United States to grift off of his office. But here we are. My only ask here is, Donald, could you please do something slightly more palatable? The idea of having to guess what that horror smells like is deeply unfair to those of us who are still sane. Now, the bottle is, of course, spray painted gold, and it has a statue of the little guy on top of it. I mean, he thinks it's him. But honestly, the statue is a depiction of a man who actually has muscles and isn't dead inside. So the fragrance, I mean, at least it's reasonably priced, right? It's only $249 a bottle. It's a massive amount of perfume, 3.3 ounces. And honestly, it is probably something you would want to use sparingly. But for reference, Chanel's iconic Chanel No. 5 costs $110 for the same amount. So I understand that perfumes can be costly, but they reflect artisanship and cachet and the expense of the ingredients. There are no list of ingredients on the Trump 4547 bottle of perfume, again, because they don't want us to know what's in it. And I'm telling you, you don't want to know what's in it either. So watch Caroline Leavitt try to gaslight the country last month, insisting that Donald does not use the presidency to enrich himself. God damn it.
It's absurd for anyone to insinuate that this president is profiting off of the presidency. This president was incredibly successful before giving it all up to serve our country publicly. And not only has he lost wealth, but he also almost lost his life. He has sacrificed a lot to be here, and to suggest otherwise is frankly completely absurd.
Oh, it's so absurd that the greatest grifter in American history is grifting off the presidency while destroying American democracy. So absurd. And if I hear one more reference to that assassination attempt to justify the horrors Donald Trump is perpetrating on the American people, I may lose my mind. But basically, this is an out-of-control man in an out-of-control administration, and the corrupt, illegitimate Supreme Court continues to give him more and more and more power. So what are our recourses? I don't know, but here's a very simple thing we can do. Do not buy that perfume. Don't buy the stupid watch that accidentally left a T off of his name. Don't buy the sneakers. Don't buy anything else. Don't buy the Doge coins, even though I don't know what they are, and I probably shouldn't be giving you financial advice. And here's another thing. Tune back in here every single week, because the grifts are going to keep grifting. The idiots are going to keep being idiots. And we will never, ever, ever run out of ways in which to mock Donald Trump and his sycophants, because mocking these traitors is the most effective way to get back at them. Thanks for being here, and I will see you next week for the next episode of Trump Trolls Trump. on the first one.
Please take a second and like and share this video. It'd be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please follow us and give the show a 5-star rating because it really does help other people find our content. Thanks.